Welcome everyone to the March meeting of the Bronxville Planning Board. Thanks for coming out tonight. Our first order of business is going to be to approve the minutes of our February meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review? And if so, would someone like to make a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Aye.
All in favor? Terrific, thank you. Okay, I think we're gonna flip the order of what we have tonight because I'm not seeing the folks from One Elm yet, but I'm definitely seeing the folks for the sidewalk seating application. Thank you for coming out. So if whoever will speak for the applicant could come up to the mic, identify yourself and tell us about your application.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Leonard Brandis Architects. We're here to try to get some outdoor seating. We just have a small area between the windows, between the doorways that are there. And we're looking just for eight seats and 4 tables. So it's not a big area. We are maintaining we have a 6-foot space between the seating and the curb. So we do meet within the codes, and we're not blocking our entryways or anybody else's entryways. So I think we're in good shape. There was a question if we wanted to see in terms of the furniture. We have some samples of what we have over here, so we'll bring that up. Now, also, there's a question about the the window systems that we have being put in and how they swing, and I have drawings that show you that as well. And
Just watch your step. So they fold into the space, not out of the space. So in terms of any potential collision with the door. I just wanted Elizabeth to be able to see that too. They're showing how they fold in, not out. If you can pass these around. Thanks, Jim.
Now, we are not going to be adding umbrellas to this because we do have an awning that'll cover this space, so we don't need umbrellas. That was a question that also came up.
Would these be out overnight or brought in, or what's the plan on that?
They're going to be brought in. I think that's what the code requires, that they brought in every night. So we were doing that. We'll keep everything nice and clean. Obviously, Peter's been doing this for a while, so you know the people that are working here, and they have always maintained a clean space and made sure that the sidewalks are kept clean.
Anything else before we jump into some of our questions?
I'm ready for your questions.
Good. I think 2 things. One is, in general, the police chief has expressed a preference for 10 feet of space rather than the 6 feet that I know you had mentioned. I think there's always a concern about both public safety and circulation when it comes to that. I think if we did that, you would only have room for 1 table on each side, not 2. Is that correct?
That is correct. I don't even think even the one would fit with 10 feet taking up. I believe the code actually is required to have 5 feet clear. And we're giving 6 feet clear to the curb. So I thought that would be very useful. Certainly, a mother with a stroller and things like that can certainly go through with very easily. 2 people can pass each other in 6 feet.
Yeah, it's a fairly busy block. You've got the grocery store there, so lots of people, including yours truly, are constantly walking up that street to the grocery store. So there tends to be a lot of foot traffic with that. Let's open it up to other questions from the board.
I thought, just going by the space, looking at it, it seemed very, very tight to have 2 tables there alongside each other. And if someone came with either packages or a stroller or something like that and then stuck it next to the table, you're really cutting into that sidewalk area. And I think, as Michael said, that's a very busy area. So to me, it seemed very crowded.
Well, we do have, we're meeting all the codes that they require, which is 3 feet from chair to chair in terms of that. So we're not making it more crowded than what's required by code here. So we're not looking for any variances. We're looking at what meets the current requirements of the village.
Right, but I'm assuming that we have the ability to make the judgment as to what we think makes sense.
Absolutely. We're only adding, it's only 8 tables, eight seats with 4 little tables. We're not doing something, not doing major here. This isn't going to be a major change. We're not having parties out here. we're just having a few tables, which people, I think, will be enjoying to use that space. I think the people of the village will enjoy that a lot more than not having the outdoor space, especially when we have the windows open, in the La Chitarra. It'll make it a very nice open space, a nice open feeling to it. So
I'm just curious where you found that particular code regarding the seating, just for reference, if you actually even have that printout.
I don't have that number with me, but in your sidewalk codes, there are very specifics and drawings and sketches, and we're going through that. So it's the sidewalk code of the village itself.
Mhm. Other questions?
I mean, I think because it's a high traffic area, there is concern about that. That's why the chief suggested a 10-foot, which obviously wouldn't accommodate any tables really. So,
Right.
Have you considered like doing a 4-seated table there, which would then wouldn't have the space between them?
It,
A little bit.
it might move it in another foot, It does limit our use of it, the space. I mean, obviously, when we have 4 people that will be using the table, they'll put the tables together. But I think having a little space around everybody, I think is, more usable. We have a lot more, especially in the evenings, more 2 people are coming, couples are coming as opposed to groups of 4.
Well, the restaurant's been very popular.
Yeah,
It's been a big hit.
Well, we're
And
happy about
so,
that.
we are always fans of restaurants in Bronxville thriving as a general matter. It is a new restaurant. And, we've had a series of approvals here from the planning board of the change of the original space and the pasta store, the expansion to the restaurant next door. And I think we've pretty consistently been quick and accommodating in doing that. I think in this case, if we approve the 2 tables of 2 right against the window for now and got the ball rolling and saw how it went, I think that would be a lot more comfortable than approving all 4 tables. And that doesn't, rule out anything in the future as we go. But I think we're all learning about the outdoor dining as we go here. During COVID, there was a major expansion, then retrenchment, and we're all trying to figure out what best balances the interests of, the proprietor of the restaurant with the community. And I really do love the idea of the open windows and having tables outside so it extends the outdoor to the indoor. But that impression can also be, it doesn't achieve the same number of tabletops or revenue for the restaurant, but that impression of outdoor to indoor can be achieved just with 1, table on each side. And someone said half a loaf is better than none, I think.
I would agree with the half a loaf better than none, but it really doesn't create the type of atmosphere we're trying to create there. If you feel that if you'd rather just go with 2 sets of, 2 4 tables and bring it in another foot, so you have 7 feet clear. I think we can.
I think 2 tables of 4 would be incredibly tight there, side to side. You have very little
Well, that's why.
horizontal footage. Again, this is something we could start with, and I think we'll all learn as we go, but that's a suggestion.
We had a coffee shop that we had simply put 2 tables against the building as well. So I think we've listened to the chief before. And have we had sidewalk dining with those areas there previously?
Well, the planters, I believe, are there, not right now. They're just.
Right,
angled.
we're just doing planters at a small,
They're changing the direction.
that's to keep people from walking into each other. And also the town does recommend planters actually. And they even actually tell you where to buy planters if you go back
I
to
think
their
I've seen
code
those for
and their specification.
Yeah.
The planters are realignment against the wall too. Perpendicular.
What about if we get 2?
If you can just come to the mic and identify yourself, it's all good, but just for those,
Sorry.
the
Peter,
thousands of people watching at home want to
Yes.
know.
No, I would suggest if we can get 2 4-tops, because then we can fit 4 people on each table, and we won't be coming out as much either,
The issue, I think, is
Because
we
you
don't
can-
have a
you-
diagram of that, Kevin. We don't know how well that would.
No, we'd have to see plans for that.
I think if you want to get something tonight, it would be the 2-2s. If you want to come back for 2-4s, I think we'd be open to discussing that in another meeting when we'd have, plans, et cetera. But I don't know what the odds are on that.
We'll take the two tops then, and then we can try again at a different time.
Some of us eat there frequently enough that we'll be able to figure out pretty quickly if it's working.
That's fair.
Not to confuse the issue, but could you evaluate 2 tables of 3? And the 3 be on the outside, or is that still too encroaching?
I don't know what you're proposing.
Just 2 tables, but 3 seats at each
Oh,
table.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. 2 tables.
With the third kind of facing
That would help.
in.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, right.
Okay.
I think the questions on that would be, does that chair
Leave you 10 feet still.
give us the right amount of space?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, but to Mike's point, I think it's having 4, which then pushes the table further out to accommodate the 4th person, that makes it more difficult when it's 2 3s. It's, it's less of an intrusion than a 4 would be into the sidewalk. Any opinions around the group? Does someone?
I think for me, I'm just thinking out loud, sorry,
Yeah.
this is all dynamic. I struggle with the 4 tables. I think that second row protrudes too much into a very high traffic sidewalk. I think I'm very comfortable with the 2-2s. I think we've done that with other restaurants. It seems very up against the restaurant. And then I think, as the chairman said, this is a first application for this. I think it's a good start. And then we can, I think what we also try to see is the real dynamics, right? It's very hard to understand what the flow is versus seeing it. So I'm very comfortable with the 2-2s. I'm toying around with the idea of 2 3s. I don't know whether it makes sense. I know I brought it up. I was hoping to hear some more comments on whether it works or
I'd be curious as
not.
to whether Kevin has a
Well,
point.
you need to see the dimensions. I don't know if that table's going to get bigger to accommodate the 3 people.
No, it would be the same table. It's just another chair
I
could go
think-
up against
I
it.
think that table is very small for having 3 plates of food on it.
But it certainly could fit 3 drinks.
Well, there you go. You start with the drinks first.
They can decide whether to put out the 3rd chair or not, right? That would be up to them, but we'd be accommodating them. As long as they don't make the table bigger, it sounds like you're okay.
Yeah. And that table's going to be pushed right up to the glass as tight as it can go.
Yeah,
Or the opening.
The equivalent to.
Yeah.
right, because
Yes,
you
yes,
slide
yeah.
the,
Yeah. I'm sorry, what?
right, it would be this size
The
table.
tables would absolutely stay the same. It's just whether you jam another chair there so that,
We would give them the flexibility to do that.
right, you have the option of 6. You could put 6 or 4 chairs out.
And if that area is open into the restaurant, they might even be able to put a chair on the other side halfway into the restaurant and have.
Depends how long your arms are. Okay, do we have a motion here?
I have one just quick question. So is the issue of the 10 feet that was the chief of police's his call, is that something that's not playing a role in the
I
report
think-
tonight, or is it
I-
just?
It's general advice he's given us. It factors into our thinking. It's not completely dispositive. We've already done other things that have been within the 10-foot window. We're trying to make judgment calls within that. There is no town ordinance, village ordinance that prohibits having something within 10 feet. That's his judgment. And so that carries weight. And so we're balancing those things.
Do we think that somewhere that 10-foot recommendation should be noted so that people in planning would
That's a good
factor that
point.
in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, it may be the first time you've learned of it, which just means that the information hasn't, we haven't had time to put it in place, but it's just something that I feel needs to be out there as a, formal. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just,
Not to mention cars running into the front of CVS. Yes.
Well, I mean, from what I'm seeing on the code and the documents that have been sent by this village in terms of this outdoor seating, they've created quite a bit of time already, and they came up with this dimension of 5 feet clear. So we're going 6 feet, trying to get as much as we can because we know it's tight.
Yeah.
And, so the 10 feet is just the police, departments, and like I said, it's only 11 and a half feet deep, the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So that really does close, really makes it tight.
Tom?
What are the hours of operation?
Hours of operation right now, is it 11 to 10? Yeah, 11 to 10, 11 a.m. to 10
So
p.m.
you would have lunchtime dining
Yes.
on the,
You taking reservations?
No preference for planning board members, Jim. Those are the rules of the road.
All right, sorry.
So with that, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the 2 tables nearest the building at this time with up to 3 chairs at each.
Yeah, that would be the way to say it.
Is there a second? Any discussion before we vote? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any
Okay.
opposed? Thank you. Keep up the
Thank
good
you
work.
very much.
Thank you.
It's all good. We have flipped the agenda. And so we now have 1 Elm Lane. And just before you dive in, are you the architect, the applicant?
I'm the architect and the GC,
Got it. But
and I'm representing the
you're
applicant.
representing the owners.
Correct.
I understand. Okay. Before you dig in, just identify yourself, and then I'm going to give a little update.
My
please.
name is Tom Dordovic. I'm an architect, resident of Bronxville myself, and a general contractor in Westchester and Manhattan.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you being here
Thank you.
tonight. And
Thank you for waiting.
the materials that you've sent in. But I think having said that, I think I need to start you off with a bit of a cautionary note.
Sure.
As we dive into this. You're here tonight because the trustees, Christina, 2-3 years ago, you tell me, passed a change to the overall rules here in the village, because up until that point, if you met all of the village requirements, you could really increase your home size by whatever percentage you wanted. And there was no speed bump on that way. And I think what the trustees, had noticed was that a lot of people were buying smaller homes in the village, expanding them substantially. And the cumulative effect of that was there were fewer, what we might call starter homes in the village. And I think, reading into their decision, they were concerned that we might end up with only large homes in the village, and that sort of the built environment in the village would become more dense. And so on that basis, they put in a speed bump that said, if you want to increase by more than 30%, you have to come to the planning board, which is not a
Sure.
fun thing to do.
Understood.
And so, that's why they did this. And so I think, the thing you need to be aware of is in each home, there's always a rationale for making the home bigger. It suits the lifestyle of the family. It's better for the homeowners, et cetera. And all these can make sense on an individual basis to that individual homeowner. But when you step back and look at it on a village-wide basis, which is how we're supposed to look at it, you can really change the fabric of the village in terms of the scale of the homes. And so there's sort of a bit of an uphill battle in choosing to go above 30%, and the owners of the home and you as the architect and GC could have chosen to go under 30%, and then you wouldn't have to deal with us. But my understanding is this is an over 50% increase. And so we want to learn more about it, but
Sure.
there's that challenge in front of you.
Sure.
So
So
please.
my question also, and I've, been to a few of these, but it's never been on the planning board side. It's always been on the variance side, and only when the FAR is being challenged. So the FARs is the speed bump, really.
So I'll finish that thought,
Sure.
because what was happening was people were making major increases to the size of their home, but they still weren't exceeding the FAR.
Sure.
And therefore they had to go to no one. And suddenly large house after large house was appearing in the village without any, thought or procedure or what have you. And so, if you didn't have something like this, you just end up with, over time, with every home in the village maximizing its, FAR, because, to buy a home in the village is extraordinarily expensive.
Right. Other question I had, again, this is just,
Yeah.
I was surprised that a variance, which from my perspective and my opinion, seems to be much more impactful because it sets a precedent and could effectively change, neighbors will then say, oh, well, you allowed them to do it. Why am I not allowed to do it? But for the variance, we only notify neighbors within 100 feet, and this one within 400 feet. So we had people like 3 streets over suddenly like, oh my God, this is serious. Why am I being notified of something that's 2 streets over? And so I'm getting calls and I'm getting, walked up to say, hey, I got a notice from you.
Christine,
Like,
is that because it's planning board rather than zoning board? So it's somewhat arbitrary. You come here.
sure.
There's
So
more
it seemed
ritual
very
harassment,
much
so.
more serious and impactful just because of the nature of who we're notifying. But anyways, that's why we're here. So, sure, sure, sure. Yeah.
Makes sense.
I get that. So it's under the same scrutiny as someone building a townhome or some other multi-story thing, right?
So one more question before you finally get to go into
Sure.
your presentation, which is, how long ago did your clients buy this house?
They bought it, so we were supposed to start it last July. So they bought it January or February of 24? Yeah. No, I'm sorry, of 25.
So about a year ago.
About a year ago, they bought it. And then we went through the permitting process. I didn't know we were going to have to go through the process, but nonetheless, she was pregnant and had a baby in October. So I said, we don't want to start the construction project in June or July, having a baby coming right around the corner. Let's just wait and push it off to the spring. So
I'm just saying, if the house doesn't meet their needs, they bought the house knowing that it didn't
Yeah.
meet their needs, in fairness.
well, they did, but it's their first kid. So, and there's only 2 bedrooms in the house.
I understand.
Yeah. They
I
bought it as a
understand. I'm
single.
just saying, they made a choice to buy this
Sure.
house. Yeah.
I mean, again, it was at a good price point.
I
They
understand.
knew it was under the FAR. They could have, right? They knew they had some room to grow on it. Anyways, and I think, in my opinion, and I do a lot of these, I think they're being very sensitive to the fabric of the neighborhood. What the project is proposing is a dormer on the back of the house. So it doesn't change the curb at all, other than the fact that they would like to add 2 dormers on the front, which just improves the beauty and the curb appeal of the house without really adding a significant amount of square footage. Really, the only visual difference, other than the dormers in the front, is the rear elevation, which no one sees because they're surrounded by woods.
Could we put up those pictures, Christina, so he can show us the front and
So that's the rear elevation. It's an existing rear elevation and an existing front elevation. Yeah. The renderings show a little bit better, but that's essentially,
Yeah,
that's it. So, and there's the existing front and proposed front. So just 2 dormers on the front is really all we're proposing to
Can
kind
you
of
see the
break.
rear there too, Christina? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is easier to follow.
Yeah,
It sure is.
So that's the rear,
that's it. Yeah.
and then the front. Yeah, take your time.
And they're not maximizing the FAR. They're still well under the allowable FAR. There's the front elevation. Mhm.
And again, the reason you're here is the square footage at least that's calculated for
It
purposes
it
of
goes
planning
over
board?
30% of where they are. I think they're 1,800 square feet, and we're adding 800 square feet. So it's more than 30% of their existing residents.
I think our consultant was saying it's more like over 50%, given this, the way it's calculated for planning board
Is it
purposes.
1,000? Oh, it maybe went, I forget. Is that Eric?
Is it okay if he just jumps
Of
up to the
course,
mic?
absolutely. Are you Eric? Yes. Eric, good to meet you finally.
So just to answer the question, in our review of the application, we noticed or calculated based on the existing and proposed conditions that the FAR was increasing by 57.49%, approximately 27.49% above the maximum allowable increase of 30%.
Yeah.
So.
And I think, as you know, the way it works is if it's under 30, you don't have to come here. If it's over 30, you have to come here. Questions from the board?
Just this square footage again, the house currently has how much square footage?
I think they're around 1,800 square feet living area currently, if we don't count, the basement is underground, so it's not.
Which is a relatively small square
It-
footage.
It's a single story
To
house.
begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's a
then
small,
you're going to 20,
we're adding 1,000 square feet?
I think 1,100.
I do.
I think you're adding 1,100.
Okay.
so, I mean, I don't think the increase is extravagant in any
Correct.
way. And I think, quite frankly, I almost think the house looks better with the dormers in the front.
Yeah.
And it,
So again, it looks better with the dormers or without?
pardon?
With the dormers or without?
No, with the dormers.
With the dormers, sure.
Yeah. And as you said in the back, you really can't see that from the street, and there's no one else looking at it
Right.
in the back.
Right.
And I think it's fairly straight, at least in my opinion, I think fairly straightforward.
I have a couple points to make.
Sure.
You know, in terms of presentation, the elevations show a lot of trees and the sort of covering parts of it. I think in the future, it's better to have the building kind of free and clear, even if there are trees in
Okay.
existence on the property, just because eventually the trees could not be there, and then you actually see what the building looks like.
Sure.
The other thing is, I'm not sure which is accurate, the dormer that's in the rendering or the dormer that's in the elevation, because the elevation has it as a 90-degree, whereas you wouldn't see any of the roof. Whereas here you see a portion of the roof, which I like.
It's not quite 90 degrees. There's about a 4-inch pitch on it, so you do see part of the roof. But, you know, again, from ground level, from the
From
you won't
ground
see
level,
any
you
of
wouldn't
it.
see,
You won't
you
see
wouldn't
any of
see
it. Sure.
But just like from a straight on
Sure.
elevation perspective. Otherwise, I think that, you know, there's ability to go, you know, much bigger and grander and appreciate the restraint.
Yeah.
And, you know, in keeping within. the
Thank you.
existing, the allowable.
Can you go to the last page of the materials? Yeah. So the blue area here, that is currently unused attic space, is that correct?
Correct. On the left-hand side, that blue area is just unused attic space. It's just storage.
And that's 13
And
feet
that,
out
the
of-
blue area is the area that's above 5 feet.
Right, so that's about 13 feet of the 25 that you're sticking out, so.
Correct. So what we're adding is the beige areas, really. So we're adding the beige areas, but now you calculate the entire attic floor as part of
Because now it's
living
usable.
space.
Now
Exactly.
it's usable. So I
Exactly.
just wanted to point out that
Right.
the ratio.
We're not
I'm sure it's
adding,
correct, but part
yeah,
of
we're
it
not
is
adding
unused
1,100
attic.
square feet.
Yeah.
But I think I understand the point he's making, which is the cubic footage, if you think of it that way, really isn't increasing nearly as much. It's just you're taking unusable space and making it usable.
Correct.
I should know the answer to this question, but why doesn't this have to go to design review?
It's because we're increasing the existing FAR the existing cover, or the existing FAR, we're increasing that by more than 30%. Even though we're not exceeding the allowable FAR, we're increasing the current one by
no,
more than
understood.
30%.
Yeah, no, but in many instances, changes that we pass on first go through the design review committee.
Well, that's 'cause
Oh,
they're-
why didn't go by design
they add
review?
more than
Oh, I'm so
30% of
sorry. I
the
didn't understand
dormer
your
of the
question.
roof. It would have to go to DRC.
Excuse me?
The two dormers, if that adds up to more than 30% of the original roof, then that sends it to
There's really
DRC.
needles on that head of the pin. Apparently, it didn't have to because of certain obscure provisions.
Okay.
That's the way it is.
I should have
That's what it is.
read
If we're,
them.
if we're, if we're, ch- if we're, if the,
Yeah, yeah. It's not about the back dormer, it's all about the front for DRC.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it's not a material enough change to go to the RC.
Yeah, if they made those dormers bigger on the front, they would become the DRC for that, then to you guys.
So the DRC is not a dormer review committee. So-
Not yet.
Not yet.
Write
And
that down.
DRC and residential is fairly new, so
Right, exactly.
We're all figuring it out.
Yeah.
3, 4 years old, I guess, since they've been doing it.
Other questions?
And I would observe the dormers do look consistent with the original style. It's not like it's dramatically changing.
I will say that I think that it's a different window type which is introduced. It has more divisions, it has a different proportion of divisions. It looks a little heavy but again, we're not the design review committee. It's just, I don't know who has jurisdiction over that. I mean, when you're inside, it'll feel very good, but when you look at the proportion, there isn't a consistency that you would maybe want there to be.
And is there an existing stairwell from the first floor to the attic, or is that going to be constructed new?
Michael, sorry, I didn't write. It's off the kitchen. There is an existing stair that goes from the kitchen, behind the kitchen, straight up. And it's the same staircase that goes down to the basement. It follows that.
But right now it goes to an attic. It's not very useful.
It's just an attic with some plywood floors that they keep Christmas decorations and luggage up there.
Where are they going to put them now?
Yeah, they're gonna, I don't know. Well, so part of that on this left side diagram, the part that's under the roof that's not being dormered is all storage. That'll all be storage.
Good. Any other questions? Not, does someone have a motion?
What?
Do you have to open it to the public even though there's nobody here?
There's no public meeting to open.
But don't we discuss it amongst ourselves before we?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think the one other observation I'd make as we do that is they did send everyone within apparently 400 feet, and none of them seem to be here. So,
Yeah,
Go ahead, Jim.
if you look at the house, I mean, as you all probably know, it's very tucked away. And in terms of the neighborhood, it's quite small in comparison to almost all of the houses
Yeah.
around it. And certainly minuscule in comparison to the ones behind it. And I know when we looked at a similar issue on Duesenberry, there was a cute little house on a little rise that came up and exceeded the 30% increase too, but they could have done that if they added a closet. And I think we took the view that it was in keeping with the neighborhood to have that very small house get a little bigger for, and it was not at all out of keeping with the neighborhood. In fact, still, as this one would be, I think, still on the smaller side. And actually it echoes the one across Elm Lane, which has dormers similar to the ones that are being proposed to be added. So the rule of thumb I think we've followed in the past is that whether what's going on is in keeping with the neighborhood with this 30% increase. And I am of the view that this is consistent with the neighborhood and therefore consistent with what we've decided in the past.
other comments? Questions?
I think it's a relatively thoughtful way of adding square footage, that it's in the back. And, you know, this says 368 square feet is really kind of the net add. You are picking up 1,000 feet of usable space, but I guess by the math, 750 of that was already existing up there.
Correct.
Just for storage. And so I know the percentages are large, but I think the quantifiable amount of 350 square feet in the back on the second floor seems very.
I mean, I think by
reasonable in this instance.
your question, Michael, that if we didn't exceed the 30%, we wouldn't have had to come here.
Yeah.
Even if we just finished off what was in the roof already, we would have had to come here. So it was really,
Yeah.
it's a strange condition, but it is
Well,
what
I
it is.
think more broadly,
Sure,
there were other homes that'll be nameless.
sure,
that
sure, understood,
triggered the
understood.
need For
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
This may not be that one.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, does someone have a motion?
I move we approve the plans as submitted.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck with the project.
Thank you very much.
Okay, do we have a motion
you,
to
guys.
adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a
Good
second?
meeting you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll look forward to seeing everyone at the April
Great,
planning
thank you,
meeting.
Christina.
Thank you.
Thank you.